Hello, ladies, Gungans, and those beyond the binary. My name's Charlie Savidge,
And my name's Ethan Odell.
and today, welcome to episode 15 of Outer Rim Radio, the podcast made by Star Wars nerds for Star Wars nerds. Today, we're discussing episode 8 and 9 of Star Wars The Bad Batch, both episodes Reunion and Bounty Lost. But before we get into that, let's talk about some of the recent Star Wars news.
Yeah, well, cool. It's been a couple weeks since Charlie and I were last able to make the podcast. Very, very exciting, though.
We're very
You
busy
would think,
boys.
yeah, very much. You would think over all this time we would get some news, but alas, we don't. Not even remotely. We got a couple things. To be honest, most of them is just kind of drama. The big
Like,
thing,
needless.
needless drama. One of the big things people are talking about is Boba Fett's starship, which has always been named Slave One, has had a kind of silent name change. Um, I don't know that it's really been confirmed, but you can just tell from a branding perspective they're trying to move away from the name Slave One. So on a new Lego set they put out, they titled it Boba Fett Starship instead of
Yeah.
Slave One, to which a lot of people on Twitter, mostly Twitter,
Yeah,
um,
almost
were
entirely Twitter. And
taking
that one guy
pictures
that
with,
played Boba Fett that time that nobody remembered
yeah, just
in
like, oh no, this will
1995.
always be my slave one. No one fucking cares, dude. Are they writing you the check anymore? No, then they
No,
don't give a shit what you have to say. Disney does not care. I mean, realistically, this is just, in many ways,
I mean
the
it's a Lego
fans are just
set.
creating manufactured outrage. I mean, it'll
Yeah,
be hilarious. I would love to see it if, we can sell our Slave One toys for $12,000 like a Dr. Seuss book on eBay. Come
right.
on, man. So that's been going on.
Yeah. Also, for
And
like, sorry, not to
no,
interject,
you're good.
but
Absolutely.
for reference, like this isn't the first time they've done this. Like they don't have the specific like the Bad Batch ship is literally just called like the Bad Batch ship, not what its actual name is.
Yeah, it's called the Marauder.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that
it's
yeah, and then like Luke's X-wing isn't Red 5; it's literally Luke Skywalker's X-wing.
seriously, but think about this. If I'm making toys, who do you market toys towards?
Normally children, but
Yes, that's perfect. But who buys the toys?
normally it's parents.
Right.
That's
So
why you have buyers and then you have consumers with toys.
exactly. You want the kid to say, "Hey, I want this." You don't want them to say, "I want Slave One," and then they go out there and be like, what the fuck's this?" Or they don't know what it's called, and they go, "I want Boba Fett's ship. I want I want the Bad Batch ship."
Yeah.
The parents are gonna know. Yeah. See, my son. You're gonna talk to some Walmart employee who's never seen Star Wars. Like,
Yeah, some old
it's
lady. She's
it's
just chilling.
it's the best recipe for what they're trying to do. So calm
Yeah.
down. Oh boy. Hold on. Sorry. I just remembered I haven't subbed this month. Let me go ahead and do that.
Oh shoot.
But anyways, back to what we are saying. In terms of actual news, though, Acolyte has announced they're going to begin filming in February of 2022. So we'll finally be out of that pre-production era with that, which is pretty exciting because I know that's a story people are looking forward to a
Right.
lot. So that will be very interesting to see. And sadly, also in news with Acolyte, there is a bit of quote unquote manufactured drama.
Oh yeah.
One of the writers on Acolyte was revealed to have never seen Star Wars, and this was a direct statement from
Yes.
Leslie Headland, she's the head runner of Acolyte, and it was kind of in a weird speech that this was revealed. Leslie Headland is a queer woman and was talking about, hey, like we wanted a diverse audience here, not just all women, not just all queer people, like we wanted it to be everyone from every walk of life, truly. And they kind of gave some context. And the thing that set people off quite a bit was that Leslie was kind of telling a little anecdote. I was like, oh yeah, this writer, she texted me and was like, wait, Luke and Leia are brother and sister? What the fuck? And I found that very interesting because either
Yeah.
this person has to go and now watch everything just to get context, or there's something related to why they needed to know that. They needed to brief them, be like, okay, here's the quick and dirty lore of Star Wars that you need to know. But yeah, people are just pissed. They're like, well, you should hire people who know about Star Wars. Like some nerd who's in the extended universe can put that on. He's so into the extended universe, read every Star Wars comic, every book, watch every series, can apply there with no
Yeah.
resume, 40 years old, living in his mom's basement. Like that's going to get him a job. This woman knows how to write, and that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's just how hiring goes. You might think you're the best person for the job, but you're not the person they're looking for.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we don't want anybody to write anything like there's an evil Luke of clone, but the way they differentiate is by putting two U's in the word in Luke.
yeah, seriously, like how do we come up with new ideas that aren't just like, okay, we've got this trend that goes on. Let's spin it. Like that's how you actually make new things, is by having someone who has no fucking clue what's going on. And here's the thing. This is not the only writer. This is
Right.
a writer's room. You just need a
Exactly.
different perspective. So
Yeah,
I
and
just really
also
think
it's like it's a TV
Twitter needs to
show.
get off their high horse. Yeah, it's a fucking TV show.
Like it's supposed to make sense to people that have never seen Star Wars. The reason you make these Star Wars shows isn't just to milk like the loyal fans. You're glad they're there. Like it's like the 1,000 true fans thing. Like you need them,
Exactly.
but it's like you're not going to keep making these shows for the exact same audience. It's like there's a reason why like even video game companies have to move on to different things. Like sure you can make 3 Uncharted's, and then you have to make like The Last of Us, where it's like you make 3 Jack and Daxter games, but you have to innovate and make them different each time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh baby, oh baby. I forgot about my resub notification being that song. So
I didn't hear it. I got everything muted, so that's kind of on me. But that's basically the Star Wars news. It wasn't much. It's just a lot of outrage and bullshit, really,
yeah,
which is unfortunate. I'd like to see better in our community. Really, just have an understanding of the process of how you write in a corporate company. It's not
right.
perfect, right? Like we all want there. Let me put it this way: there is something very refreshing about, you know, oh my God, who wrote the Light of the Republic? Charles Soule. I don't even
Yeah,
have to type it. The Charles Soules of the world, the guy who's just loves Star Wars, and he bleeds Star Wars.
yeah,
It comes out of his pores. There's something very refreshing about that. But at the end of the day, he knows how to write, and he writes books. That's
yeah,
something that's inherently detail oriented. This is a show with a writer's room. It doesn't matter. Get off your high horse. That's
yeah.
it.
And
That's all I
it's
gotta
like,
say.
yeah, and also it's good to have that perspective because, like, how is my mom gonna understand what the fuck is happening?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
like in general, like that's the thing. Like, people are passive Star Wars fans. People need to like remember that. There are people who are like, "Oh, this show looks good, and it's related to these movies I liked." Like, that's like your predominant audience. Your predominant audience hasn't seen all 7 seasons of Clone Wars and every episode of Rebels and is keeping up with the Bad Batch. There's a lot of people that are doing that, sure, but all the different content's made for different age groups, and that's like something that people just need to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, my fiance and I, we watch. She watches Bad Batch with me before the shows, and there's just a level of someone who I love Star Wars. It bleeds from my pores. It's been something, bleeds from my pores. I hope not. Jesus Christ, it's in my veins, kind of thing. That was a terrible analogy. I don't know where that came from. Oh God,
Bleeding
delete
from
that from my mind.
my spoon
I'm
is too
just
big.
my spoon is too big. Um. Anyways, it's just what the fuck was I even talking? God damn it. Oh Lord, I'm crumbling, Charlie. I'm crumbling. Uh, you just things, Charlie. What the hell is I even talking about?
I don't know, man. You were
What were we
saying
talking about?
we were talking about how we watch Star Wars with
Oh,
people
thank
that
you.
aren't giant Star Wars nerds.
Yeah, and I watched with my fiance, and she likes Star Wars. I
By the
mean,
way, if you didn't notice from last time, it's fiance now.
yeah, I got engaged, so that's exciting.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to bring it up.
Um, but anyways, it's just you need that. You need something where not everyone's gonna get every little point, not everyone's gonna get every little detail because shit, no one wants to sit there and analyze for 25 to 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah,
I
especially
sure
when you're
don't.
not like a giant nerd like us.
Yeah, seriously,
Like we
like
can
leave
have a show,
episode
we can break it down, but if I'm like, just kind of
leave it.
chilling and like gonna watch this and like go to bed or like go to work or something.
And that's not really even our wheelhouse. Like that's your Star Wars explains of the world. Like the guys who sit there and break down every detail.
Yeah.
Like you only need one guy to do that,
Yeah.
right? Like
Market's
the
filled.
cat market's filled. Exactly. Great way to put it. Well, speaking of market being filled, let's not get too deep into the news. Let's just move on and start talking about
Bad
the last two
Batch.
episodes. Bad Batch. That's
Bad
what we're here
Batch.
for.
Yeah.
So episode number 8 was Reunion. That was released as of watching this. That was what, the 18th, Friday the 18th, June 18th,
Yeah, I think
right?
so.
2 Fridays ago.
Yep, it is.
And man, I had to watch both these back to back because I had to go on a trip where I had literally no internet. And I'm just gonna say this: it was, if I could describe what made this episode good for me, and I'm going to give you mostly positives. And if you've watched the past couple episodes, Ethan might be a little bit of a nitpicker and a little bit of a bitcher. I'm not going to lie. But the devil was in the details for this one in a good way. I really appreciated all the small notes that we got here. And it's really showed me that from episode 1 and on, every episode improves in some way. It's it's not the best thing that we're seeing. Like I can watch and track improvement from episode to episode. I wish it was perfect from the beginning.
Right.
But I mean, every episode, the sound design seems to get better for me. And this episode, the sound design was so amazing. I mean, the
Yeah.
ship sounds, the creaking, the echoing. When they're in that ion chamber and it's creaking and it's echoing with every footstep, and you got this ominous roaring sound as they're walking
Yes.
through before even it starts to fire. I mean, the crumbling of the ship was so satisfying for every
Yeah.
angle. Blast off the cannon and it's falling apart, and it was just so visceral. Like you could tell people were getting crunched. Those troopers weren't getting up. Now, granted,
Yeah.
I had some trouble believing the
The
trooper with
torpedo,
the
the face.
yeah, like the torpedo to the face. That's
Yeah,
where
I'm like,
this just
I was like,
absolutely
that bitch dead. I was like, we're not seeing
That's
her
what we said.
again.
We're like, "Oh, that sucks." She's gone, and then she gets up. I'm like, "Shit."
Whatever fucking helmet technology is in Star Wars, they need to give it to the NFL. No one will ever have concussions again.
Yeah, dude, the life expectancy of a football player will go up tenfold. Um,
Literally.
yeah, it was pretty weird in that regard, but I'm gonna say, hey, they introduced that one really cool character, the one really gruff guy who was, standing up to Crosshair, and then he instantly kills him.
Yeah.
So you can't just be like, oh, we really got this character going again, and then we're gonna kill him. So I get it from a writing perspective, and it's an
Yeah.
interesting character. So, but I just thought it was funny. But yeah, even the music in the engine room was really cool. It actually reminded me a lot of KOTOR music, just that like lots of horns and
Yeah, I
very.
didn't think about that, but that makes sense.
It was very ominous. I really liked that, and I mean, I don't even need to get into this yet, but with the characters, I'm gonna get into this when we talk about the next episode. But man, how cool is it to see Cad Bane back?
I
How
know. Oh my
fucking
lord.
cool.
I,
Fan
s-
service to a
I was
T, my
watching that
dude.
with my mom and I literally went out loud and I was like, holy shit, it's Cad Bane. Whoops, I just opened stream and it was like playing my voice. That's terrible. Sorry for like the 1
Oops.
second for all the viewers.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah, it's fine. You hear my voice all the time. But anyways, yeah, I literally like I was like, holy shit. And I was like, when he like not I mean, we'll get to it later. It was he stepped out. Man, it's over. Odie?
Yeah, sorry, I had to do something on my computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, when he came out, I was like, "Oh no, it's over. It is donezo
Yeah,
for
he
Hunter."
and plus
I was like, "Oh shit."
and getting back to that that western
Yes.
just that western sound. I mean, literally they had it was western music as he steps off as you see the hat and you're just wondering as soon as you see oh all these clones are dropped dead you're like who is it? Is it a Jedi? Is it another bounty hunter? Is it like who could it be?
Yeah.
And
I
he
was kind
comes
of just
out and
expecting Fennec, like,
yeah, which that was the easy way to go. And
and then
now
it
we've got
wasn't.
another plot strand and that's all cool.
Yeah.
Um
And it
I
was like a
just
shot
really
for shot recreation of the Boba Fett fight from Clone Wars.
yeah, that just standoff. I mean, the episode had stakes too. Like
Yeah.
it really did.
I mean, it definitely. I mean, it's something that needed to happen, right? Like, I can get the complaint that it like mirrored, when Grogu got taken in the Mandalorian season 2, but like, I
Yeah, but my thing with this was they actually provided stakes.
exactly, and
Like when someone
also,
gets shot,
it's
it's gonna hurt. Like
yeah,
I mean, I was a little upset that we didn't have Hunter take as much damage, but what happened to Crosshair was just brutal. I mean, just
yeah,
absolutely brutal. I
yeah,
mean, I want to see what he's going to look like after this, first of all.
yeah,
But it was so cool. And you just really felt like people were getting hurt and people things were happening. I mean, it was visceral. He got his face charred off. He's never going to recover from that.
yeah,
Fully like that. So, I don't know. It just everything was intense about that episode. I mean, everyone hyped it up to a point that it was almost like you couldn't get there. Everyone's like, it's so intense, it's so badass, it's so cool. But it really was. It really hit the
yeah,
mark, and I was really impressed.
yeah. That shit was crazy. Both weeks were these past 2 weeks were just full crazy. Everything I love Star Wars. Like,
Yeah, I will say I definitely thought the stronger of the two episodes was reunions.
I would agree, but
Um,
I
but Bounty
also,
Lost was still solid, like without a doubt.
yeah, I think Bounty Lost is probably the best action we've gotten so far.
Exactly.
And I
But
think
I think
that uh Reunion is kind of it. What it did really well was like the pacing and the tension, right? Like
yeah, oh yeah,
providing those
absolutely.
stakes that we talked about, like that's like what made it. Whereas the other one, I was like, I'm watching Cad Bane and Fennec Shand fight. I was like, I could literally just watch them fight for hours, and this is enough entertainment for me. So,
Yeah, and what I really like is, how Cad Bane fights. He's resourceful.
yes,
Once he's like a cat. He's got 9 lives. It's really difficult to take this guy down, right?
yep,
But with Finnick, she's so precise. She's so brutal, and she's always getting back up on her feet and making the best of a situation. I mean, like they really those two are the epitome of bounty hunters in Star Wars. Like
yeah,
you can't get them down. They take every disadvantage and make it an advantage, right? And that's what I really appreciate about them
yeah,
as
I-
characters. So, man, just that whole episode was really cool. Like you said, I mean, the action was awesome, right? But
yeah. And also, it
I
was
really,
great that we got to see. I guess what differentiates Mando and Bad Batch is like Grogu is pretty much helpless to escape by himself, whereas Omega literally did everything herself to get out of that
exactly.
situation, and that was
That's my
so
biggest thing.
enjoyable.
I mean, the fight scenes are great, but there was, you know, where I think eight episode 8 reunion showed like hey the devil is in the details with all the small stuff. um you had this complexity going on. Yeah, you got some suplexes going on, but there's some complexity.
Yeah,
you know it was really cool to see Omega actually interact with with the story and not just be carried around, other than just like, I'm going to shoot this and save the day based off a lesson. Very kids cartoony, right? Whereas
Yeah.
in this, she was really able to take her background knowledge and then use the strength and confidence she had gotten from her training to really show that she's not just someone who's flawless, nor is she someone who's helpless. She's a well-rounded character who is intelligent. I
Yes.
mean, her actions really meant something. She was constantly on her feet, moving about, thinking, on her toes, and it really felt like this is a character who belongs in the Bad Batch. If Hunter
Exactly.
had made these same decisions, I would believe it. He goes in there, he tries to get the distress signal. Oh, she comes in and she's on her toes, backs against the rope, but she decides, oh, I can turn this to my favor. Blows up releases the Kaminoan tank on top of Fennec. It was
Yeah.
just very impressive. It was just there
Yeah.
was layers that they kept adding that I really enjoyed. I mean,
Also, that setting was awesome.
oh, it was so
Like, we got to see everything, like, outside of the normal Camino shit. And it was, like, it's like
yeah.
half
No, no.
Camino, half Cloud City. Like, it's awesome.
I mean, that failed. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. When I saw that failed Kaminoan clone, man, that was brutal. That was visceral.
Yeah. Also,
You
the way
saw that
Fennec reacts, where she's,
slop.
like, basically gagging at the... like,
Yeah, just squeegeeing this green, almost ambiotic fluid off her. It was so visceral, and I
yeah,
really enjoyed it. It was
it's
such
like
a
gross
good
expired
touch.
Bacta. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
and now you've got this interesting um
Question.
thread going on where you've got these levels of intrigue. We know who Cad Bane was hired by. And we know who Fennec was hired by.
Yep.
But now it's where do all the details fit into this? I mean, there's everyone's saying, okay, you know, something about Omega is that they're an unaltered clone because of a Cad Bane line and all this stuff, but really we don't really know what's going on. What makes Omega important? Everyone wants to find that out. What
Yep.
makes Omega worth hunting down? That's something we have to figure
She's a
out.
pure clone, baby.
But Finnick is the most interesting part in all that. I really enjoyed that
Yeah.
they had this arc, and even if Finnick no longer interacts, it was so interesting to see that Finnick was sympathetic in that not sympathetic. Yeah, I'd say a
Yeah.
sympathetic character.
I'd agree.
You don't want Finnick to win, but Finnick at the end was trying to do the right thing. So you're like, ooh, that feels
Yeah.
weird. And you don't want to hate Finnick. We never want to hate Finnick because Finnick is one of the most interesting characters in Mando.
Yeah.
So they did a really good job of not taking away Finnick's growth that we see in Mando, but still
Yes.
allowing them to be a complex character, although it was relatively flat, right?
Hmm.
So I just really liked how they handled Finnick, and Finnick made themselves available. So you just got this intrigue going on. It's just the thing that's compelling about this show that I really don't think the Clone Wars had, other than you know within an arc,
Yeah.
is it's really dragging you along for this mystery. There's a
Yeah.
level of intrigue that we're trying to figure out. And obviously there's the from place to place, we got to feed ourselves. We got to avoid Crosshair in the Empire. We got to save Crosshair from the Empire. And we got to figure out why everyone wants Omega and why she's so
Yeah.
special.
And why is it
Despite,
Fennec and Cad Bane and preceding
yeah,
Kaminoans and who else?
yeah. And they also said they'll send any number of bounty hunters after them.
Yeah.
So
Which
we
I
could
also
see,
think, well, not to get too into speculation, but I think
that's
based on what
our
we heard,
next
there's a
little
pretty
route.
obvious pick, right?
What do you think?
Oh, Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean,
If
they're
it's
talking about.
because I'm assuming if they're gonna send any amount of bounty hunters, it's like an open bounty, but he's gonna have to learn his basically relationship of how Omega's his like pseudo clone sister, which is gonna be interesting.
It would be interesting. It depends how they want to go with it. I
Yeah,
mean, we don't know a lot of canon what happens between the death of Jango Fett and the original trilogy
yeah,
um Jango. That stuff from not Jango, Boba. The original trilogy Boba. We don't know what happens between the death of his father and his
yeah.
bounty hunter
We just have
lifestyle.
a few Clone Wars episodes and the War of the Bounty Hunter stuff that's like going on right now. Uh,
So right. So I'm
yeah,
really interested to see like what they flesh him out as because he's still an up and coming bounty hunter. So like they're trying to pick the best of the best, right? I
yeah,
mean, they even said it with Fennec. Like Fennec is discreet. The reason they pick Fennec is because they know they don't have a reputation. I mean, that was very specific. But I could see a realm in which they don't pick Django, which Django is out for himself, just to kind of like he hears the rumors through the
you mean
grapevine
Boba?
and like God damn it, I do this every time. Boba is going through it. Yeah, Django
Yeah,
comes back from the dead,
yeah.
severed head and all.
I
That'd be
need my
awesome.
children. No.
It's like, yeah, I gotta grow a head, so can I
Yeah,
steal some of your genetic data? No, I really would be interested to see what Boba's motives are. And I think you could do something a little more complex than they're gonna pay me and it's cool, right, for me to be back on
yeah.
screens.
I mean, it certainly seems like he's absent because they were like, it seemed like going after Omega was easier than trying to even get Boba back to Camino. So
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting part is like, are they hunting Boba?
right,
And that's the thing is like clearly if they're not, there's something that separates them.
yeah,
There's something perfect in that way. I mean, as much as we still want to be on the Omega has force powers, which would be cool. Um,
yeah,
you don't even have to consider that. There could be any level of things. But I mean, the biggest argument that people have is Omega's what's the word I'm looking for? Proficiency with technology.
yeah,
That's very much something they talk about with Padawans and stuff like that is they naturally pick up technology. They're naturally intelligent. They're naturally dexterous. I mean, one of the complaints was, oh, well, why did Omega pick up this bow so quickly? They couldn't use it in one episode, and the next they're just like quick firing.
right,
It's a very realistic explanation that's well rooted in Star Wars canon.
yeah,
So we'll see. I'm interested to see why. I would love to see any number of bounty hunters.
yeah.
Um,
Bosk,
I mean, Bosk would be amazing. I would
Dangar,
love Bosk to get more fleshed out.
underwear wearing Dangar.
We're wearing Dinger. That's hilarious.
You know, I used to
Who
call
else?
Bosk Bosco stick because, of
Yeah,
course, I did.
because we were all children once. Bosk sticks sound good, Charlie.
I know they're delicious. Just lots of cheese, marinara, bread.
As the Lord intended. Um, when do you
Exactly.
think we're gonna start to see Star Wars? Jesus, I'm so tired.
When are
When
we
do you think
gonna
we're
see
gonna
the Star Wars?
when we see Star Wars? Which does make me sound like
I've been
kind of a
sitting here
boomer.
the whole time, haven't seen a whole Star Wars yet.
I was gonna ask about the Jedi, so that is pertinent. Do you think we're gonna see any Jedi anytime soon?
Mm, uh, I can't think of who we could see. I mean, I doubt we'll see Cal Kestis. I guess there's Oppo Rancisis.
Yep.
I don't think we're gonna go out and see Obi-Wan or Yoda. I
No,
don't.
that
I
they
don't think we're
can't
gonna
go
go
against that.
mess with that.
I don't think they can mess with Ahsoka. This is just one of the things I've heard as a theory in this
I
show, and I don't really
you
think it's
could
gonna
see.
happen.
I think Ahsoka's probably the most likely, but only because there is the Rex connection. But
Yeah,
I
it's
also
true.
feel like it's kind of permanent that her and Rex don't really cross path until Rebels, unless it's like real soon. You know, because
Yeah,
we
I
know
mean, I
she's
can very
definitely
much.
still talking to the Martez sisters, and obviously she gave their info to at least to Rex, right?
Right. So that's what I'm thinking. That's the only thing that makes sense to me is they see Rex and Rex says, this is the only like one of the ways I see them fixing Crosshair. It's like we still don't really understand from the Bad Batch's perspective as how Ahsoka got rid of the chip for Rex, right?
Yeah,
Like from the Bad Batch perspective. So I mean that's always a plot point there, but I think it's a little weak of a
yeah,
connection to go, hey, Rosario Dawson, you're already doing all this stuff. Can you just voice some more?
yeah. Or I mean, Ashley X Team, but I don't know.
I don't know who they're gonna do. Uh,
I mean, if they got
maybe
Ashley X Team for season 7, we're super close to that in the timeline.
Okay, that's true. That's true. That's absolutely true.
So, but yeah, I don't even think we're gonna see her. I think we could get maybe some like Jedi lore or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but
I have no reason to suspect it, but it would be interesting.
I don't know. There's always something weird you have to find in Star Wars.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. And like to backtrack, I actually think that is the benefit of having someone um who hasn't seen Star Wars writing Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
There is a level of dude, Easter eggs aren't that fucking cool. Like I
yeah,
really I like them. They're interesting to go, "Oh, that reminds me of this."
yeah,
Like, even just the sound design reminds me of KOTOR. That's cool to me, but, you're not catering to an audience. When I go, "Oh, that reminds me of Knights of the Old Republic," my girlfriend goes, "I don't fucking know." It doesn't cater to every audience. Like, just
right.
make a good plot, make a good show, have it well animated, and going back to what I was saying before, like, the biggest thing we've seen, from my perspective, the biggest improvement I've seen is just from show to show, they're working on the quality. The
Yeah,
the sound design has been much better. It's noticeably different to me. And the animation, the colors, I mean, it's just been so much more
yeah.
vibrant
The
and
lighting in their
alive.
engine, their animation engine, has been so good the last few episodes.
I don't know if it's just they've been able to utilize it more just based off the settings, if this is like a design and production choice or what, but like over the past few episodes, I audibly just at the beginning of the episode gone, wow.
Yeah,
Especially when they're in the scrapyard setting where there's so much color and
yeah,
different shadows and lighting. It's just so fascinating to
yeah,
look at. I mean, this engine it's really the area that they can show this off, and I
yeah.
just hope we get more like
Braca looked
this.
amazing.
Absolutely, Braca was awesome. I mean, it just showcased so much of what this show can be.
Yeah,
Although it was a little weird to me that they kind of just forgot about the scrappers. Like, I really wish that got used as a plot point in a
yeah.
way.
They were
But
just there for like that hot minute. It's
yeah,
kind
you
of
can
weird
only
that
do
they
so
didn't.
much in 25 minutes, right?
Right. I mean, if I knew the Imperials were coming, I'd probably fuck off too. But
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or surrender. I
yeah,
mean, they assisted them. They called them
yeah,
out. So, but
yeah.
it would have
I'd be
been
like, they're
very
gonna wreck shit up the way. I mean, if the way Crosshair was stepping up, basically.
yeah. It's been very interesting to me. Speaking of Crosshair, I would love to know more about why he seems to have this attitude change. Whether it's a writing lapse or if it's just because of the chip or it's just very direct. Crosshair has been, well, very direct. He
Direct and
there's no
aggressive.
there's no subterfuge like there was with him in 7. Like there's no stealthing around and being sneaky. I mean, like sure, he's gonna snipe you from the engine, but that was just to be like, oh, we've got you surrounded.
I mean,
There
yeah,
was no
he could have
trickery.
totally just like gotten a way smaller transport and tried to snipe them, pick them off, make it
Yeah,
his
I
game.
mean,
But he brought in like a whole few squads.
yeah, and it felt very crosshair. Like when I saw that they left the bodies outside, I was expecting to go covert or when they're sweeping the ship, he's gonna prowl back in the shadows and wait for them to make a move on either a
Yeah,
patrol or make a move away from them. Like it just felt a little too direct and not as cat and mouse as I want from this relationship. That's
well,
my
yeah,
biggest gripe, actually.
and well, I think a lot of it. I think it is like the chip, and I think it's the fact that they are basically putting him in charge of a squadron, whether he wants to or not.
Right.
And if and I think that does affect his personality because I think he's not only is he like normally like a stealthy guy, he's a sharp shooter, but even the way he talks to people is way more direct. Like he's
It has to
prior to
mirror
this,
Hunter. I
he's
mean,
always
that's
been a bit of a smartass, and
yeah. I
he's like
mean,
a bit of a
he has
smartass
to.
and a bit of a show off.
They have to make him direct. They have to give some sort of mirroring to Hunter. I mean, that's kind of their whole idea here is one followed orders and one didn't, right?
Yeah,
One is leading and the other is running away. Still leading, but Crosshair
exactly.
has the upper hand. I just find it very interesting how much of a personality shift that has and not been explained. So We'll see if
Right.
it's the chip. I mean, my fiance is convinced it's the chip.
I concur.
I'm I'm salty, so I'm like, it's probably just a lapse in writing, or I'm being too nitpicky. But
Sometimes both. Maybe
sometimes
all
both,
three.
maybe everything. Could be all of them. But I think part of that is also like I find Crosshair to be such a compelling character.
Yeah.
He really is. I mean, you've got the sympathetic note, and that's really well written. But
Yeah.
she's just everything you want in a villain, right? He's
Yeah.
intelligent. He knows you. He knows your flaws. He knows your game plan.
Yeah. By the way,
He's just gonna be one side.
I
What's
have
up?
a needlessly random question.
Yeah, what's up?
Who do you think would have won in a duel if you replaced Hunter with Crosshair?
Oh yeah,
Him and
Crosshair
Cad.
all day long.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I mean, one of my biggest complaints about this show, and it's not the show. Let me don't put that wrong. It's the perspective of the show right now. I would love to see more Crosshair. I would
I
love to
agree.
see Crosshair interacting with the bounty hunters, where they're like, "You're in my way." I mean,
Right.
Omega's in the way. Omega is just another target, just someone else to kill.
Yeah, for him, yeah.
And I would love to see Crosshair going up against the bounty hunters and just slaughtering them. Just absolutely just showing his hand. That's my biggest problem is we've got to see a lot of really close moments with Crosshair. But I want to see Crosshair take the upper hand on somebody.
Right.
Just really show off his strength. Not even just, oh, you've got all these troopers, you got this whole squad you get to lead. No, no, just you. Just you,
Yeah.
one man army style. And do the same with Hunter, man. That's what I'm expecting.
Yeah. I mean, show why these characters are special, not just. I mean, they've been doing a good job of character development, but like
They
show why they're
absolutely have.
special physically. Show both their strengths and their weaknesses. I think they've addressed the weaknesses pretty well so far, but we haven't been able to really see someone go like
Yeah, not in this show.
crazy.
Not since season 7 of Clone Wars.
Yeah, like like I mean, I love the scene. It's a few episodes back where Fennec basically just pushes Hunter into or pushes Wrecker into like a metal pipe, and he just like gets hurt. But I want to see more things like Wrecker does something insane. Like, how the fuck is that possible? Like,
Yeah, I mean that was the cool stuff where it's like, oh, this thing falls out of the sky and Record just fucking catches it. It's great.
yeah, or like,
We should all be dead, but nope.
yeah, like literally his intro, and even in this show, was like, I'm gonna go push tanks off a cliff because I am strong.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It
Yeah,
was,
I'm with you. I would love to see a little bit more of the strengths. I think that'll be interesting. Let's talk about one last speculative note, and then we can kind of take it to a
wrap it up.
conclusion here. Um, my fiance and I were talking about the ending, and it seemed a little too specific. Hunter makes a promise that they're never gonna take Omega back to Kaminoa, and no one's gonna hurt her.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say one of those promises gets broken, and it's definitely
Camino.
that they're gonna get taken back to Camino, like 100%, 100%.
Yeah. Well, you don't.
I mean, the
Here's
Camino
my
ones
speculation.
want her.
I think somehow, I think what might happen is that a member of the Bad Batch and ends up having to go to Camino, or maybe it's like they're gonna kill Crosshair or something, and they need to go.
Yeah,
Like,
I
there's
could
gonna
see
be,
100%.
even if it's like, I don't know, Wrecker gets taken out, and then like the Kaminoans have him. No one wants to fight a whole army of Wreckers. Like,
Oh my god. Yeah, that was what I was scared about. I thought that was really what was gonna happen for a minute. It's like, oh
yeah,
no. That'd be so fucked.
yeah, and I also think we're gonna see Rex again. So
Oh,
I
you
think
have to.
we're definitely gonna see Rex again. We're gonna see Fennec again. But I could see it's kind of like I kind of like the idea again of like a not to keep mere Mando, but I love like the idea of like a little bit of a team up between people with different agendas. Be like when Grogu got taken, how he teams up with Fennec and Boba and
Yeah.
Bo-Katan. Like I love that. But I think it'd be cool if we saw something akin to that, even if it's like, oh, Fennec's gonna join the Bad Batch to go help someone, or it's like, in Rex and the things I can't discuss because fucking Kenner toys. Um,
Yep, I know.
but yeah,
Um,
what you looking at? Wah wah wee wah. But yeah, I think there's
so 9 years, 28. So there's 28 years between Mando and Bad Batch. Okay, that's just what I need to know in my head.
yeah. All right. Do you have any speculation, sir?
No, I just thought I was just thinking about that. Just because you've got the timeline difference between Fennec. I mean, Fennec's young.
Yeah.
Listen, very young.
I'd
She
also like
don't
to
know
still
how.
see Boba.
I would really like to see Boba. I think
I
that
don't
would be
need to see
interesting.
Boba, but I'd like to see Boba. They've set up Boba Fett to be a bit more interesting than I initially thought. So,
Yeah, I mean,
because there's the
absolutely.
complexities with Omega. Obviously, Boba Fett knows her when he finds her in the desert.
And I think there's something to be said about how much betrayal we've seen from the Kaminoans. I mean, I would really,
Yes.
I could see some vengeful attitude, some, oh, why did you come and fuck up the Kamoans? Like, oh, because they betrayed my father in such a way. There's just so many things we could see with that. So,
Right.
my biggest thing about this show that I appreciate is they're giving themselves room to write. I mean, they're really establishing threads and really giving us
Yeah.
places to guess
Like
about.
they
I mean, that's the
literally
fun
have
part.
so many. There's so many potential options, and I always think that's, especially with the shows in Star Wars, I always think that's one of the best parts. Is like honestly half the fun of Star Wars is literally like, what's next,
Yeah, absolutely.
and like just getting your imagination to run wild. I think that's like something that's very endearing and like something I just kind of consider a part of the Star Wars culture. Like just having those discussions is cool.
Yeah, well put, Charlie. Uh, very well put. I think we end on that note.
Alrighty.
Cool. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Outer Rim Radio. If you like the episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast wherever you get your podcast and share our podcast with a friend, family member, whoever you might think enjoys it. If you want to interact with us, help us make the show better, consider interacting with us on social media, our Discord, or on Twitter, which you can find links in the show, or you can find our Twitter at ORR Show. Once again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Goodbye, and may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.